So at this point, we've discussed service management, value, organizations and people, and services and products. In this lesson, I want to briefly consider the concept of a service offering. The reason I'm spending this lesson on service offerings is because it's a concept that you need to be able to describe and discuss on the exam. This concept falls under the understand level of knowledge for the certification exam. Now first, what is a service offering? Well, a service offering is a description of one or more services designed to address the needs of a target consumer group. In essence, a service provider is going to present their services to customers or consumers in the form of service offerings, which describes one or more of their services that are based on one or more of their products. Now, service offerings can include goods, access to resources, and service actions as part of that service offering. Let's take my own company as an example of a service provider. We have many different products that can help you when you're studying for your certification exams. I think you're getting the idea here as I'm talking about this of what a service offering is. It shows you how we can group and sell those different products and services multiple times in multiple different ways, depending on the consumer we're trying to reach. You may have seen this with companies that offer things as a monthly service where different service offerings happen based on the different functionalities at the different price points. For example, I use Hulu at my home, which is a video on demand service. Hulu has a few different pricing tiers. The cheapest option is about $8 per month, and it gives you all of the TV shows you want, but you have to watch commercials. Instead, we decided to opt for the next higher price, which is going to allow us to pay $12 per month, but it eliminates all of those commercials. Now Hulu even has added a third tier. They have a $40 per month offering, and this gives you access to all of the TV without commercials, but it also gives you access to live news, sports, and other things, and a cloud-based DVR service. So as you moved up the pricing tier, you got additional services as part of that service offering. Now let's go back one more time to the definition of a service offering. If you remember, a service offering is a description of one or more services designed to address the needs of a target consumer group. Now remember, service offerings can include goods, access to resources, and service actions as part of that service offering too. So before we close out this lesson, we're going to quickly define these three items. First, we have goods. Goods are things that are supplied to the consumer. These are things that are transferred from the service provider to the consumer, and once that occurs, the consumer is now responsible for that future use. For example, if you went and signed up for a new service offering from your local cell phone provider, they're going to give you a phone that you can use. But you're now responsible for that phone. If you break it, you're going to have to pay to get a new one. If you lose it and somebody makes $1,000 in long-distance calls, well, you're going to be the one getting the bill. The goods, meaning the cell phone here, were transferred from the service provider to you, and now you as the consumer are responsible for it. The second thing a service might offer is to provide access to resources. This means that access to resources is granted or a license is given to a consumer under some agreed terms and conditions. My website is a great example of this. When you purchase a membership at my website, you're given access to the videos, the practice exams, hands-on labs, and all the other stuff that we have there. You're given a license to use them under the terms and conditions that you agreed to when you signed up. These resources all remain under the service provider's control, and the service provider is responsible for ensuring that you can use them in the way it was promised. Now, here's where things get a little messy for consumers sometimes, though. Sometimes you may not like the way the service provider is willing to let you use their service. For example, our website doesn't allow videos to be downloaded because we're a subscription-based service. So if you stop paying your monthly subscription fee, you stop having access to those videos. Therefore, we don't want you to have them all downloaded on your hard drive, or you could sign up for service one day, download all 20 of our courses, and cancel service the next day. This is because we didn't transfer the ownership of that video to you. Instead, we're just giving you the access or a license to it to use it and watch it as much as you want, as long as your subscription remains active. Now, if you don't like those terms and conditions, you're going to have to find a different course or a different way to purchase that course that does allow you to have that one-time payment where you can download it and use it as much as you want. But again, that's up to the relationship between you and your service provider. As a service provider, we control the resource and we're giving you access to it under this service offering. Now, the third thing that might be a part of a service offering is a service action. This is an action that's performed to address a consumer's need. Let's use the example of a piece of software you might have a license for when you're building a website. For example, our website uses a piece of software as the basis of our learning management system. We paid for the software with a one-time fee, and we were given rights to use it indefinitely, as much as we want, without having to pay any recurring fees. Now, this falls under the goods category, right? Well, that part of it does. But for that one-time fee, we're not going to get any support and we're not going to get any updates or patches. And if we want that technical support for the software, including the patches and the security updates, then we're going to have to pay for that part of the service offering, which is considered a service action. Because of this, we have opted to pay an annual fee to the company, and in return for that, we have 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week technical support access to their staff, and we can ask any questions we want, and we also get access to all the security updates and patches as they're going to be released. So that's the difference between goods, access to resources, and service actions. Goods are going to be transferred over to the consumer. Access to the resources is going to let the consumer access them on the terms and conditions in the license that's been granted from the service provider. And service actions are going to be covering things that are going to be ongoing things like technical support and customer service fees. That's the way you need to remember it for the exam.